Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. And yes, it is absolutely lovely to have you along for the ride, especially when your Philadelphia Phillies are playing as great as they are. The thing that continues to blow me away about this season, it's the years. The years that we keep on referencing. They haven't done this since. They haven't done that since. Now we got 1892. 1892 on the list, which is the last time the Phillies had this great a stretch through 35 games. 1892, people. Pabst Blue Ribbon didn't even have their blue ribbon yet in 1892, and yet the Phillies had a great year that year. We're going to give you some more fun facts about the year 1892. We'll give you them a little bit later in the show. We'll talk about Nick Castellanos hitting his 5th home run of the season. We'll talk about JT Realmuto hitting back-to-back days with home runs in this Phillies lineup. We'll talk about Zach Wheeler and yet another incredible start by a Phillies pitcher. We'll get all that and more, and including John Ross for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you have some changes there at the wide receiver position. You still have Paris Campbell. He's here in Philadelphia there. Devontae Parker goes, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. More time with the family. Enter John Ross. I loved John Ross coming out of college. Talking about that speedster, wide receiver, that burning speed. Talking about another guy who was contemplating retirement. Now he's like, let me give this a shot. Okay. Let's see how we do here in Philadelphia. I'm all for it. I think you got young guys on this team through the draft that you want to develop, but you also want to see some veterans come in here. I like the balance. And as you go through OTAs, as you go through mini camp, and then later training camp, and you get everybody together for the real thing, I want everybody in here, as many opportunities as possible to see who can flourish in this Kellen Moore offense, who can flourish with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, and who can come in here and start hitting home runs with everybody else on this Eagles offense that has the capability of hitting home runs. Keep on stacking the offense as far as I'm concerned. Was it a huge concern of mine, as I told you many times before, about that third wide receiver spot? No. I've told you before, when we start really going down the depth chart, with the Eagles, I start feeling more and more confident about their odds of winning the Super Bowl. Because as I've said many times before, I go back to 2017 before the season. You have Nick Foles as your backup quarterback, and I don't believe he played in that preseason. And then John Dorenbos gets traded to the Saints, which saves his life, for the record. And I remember before that season going, wow, if these are the two positions I'm worried about, backup quarterback and long snapper, I'm feeling pretty good about the Eagles' odds of doing some great things this year. And I honestly feel very similarly this year, at least when you talk about the offense. Defensively speaking, I have taken every ounce of optimism away from the last couple of days of seeing Jordan Davis, listening to Jalen Carter, hearing from Darius Slay talk about their new defensive coordinator and how everything seems simpatico when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles defense and being on the same page as Vic Fangio. But I got to tell you, it's really weird to even come up. Like, I'm watching the Celtics last night. And, Phillies had the afternoon game, so I'm watching the Celtics and Pacers. And I'm sick. The Celtics go on this 15-0 run end of the first quarter, early in the second quarter, and they were just dominant. And, I mean, we've seen it enough where the Celtics just bounced the Sixers out of the playoffs, and it's just been horrendous. And the Celtics, as we know, not only did they not have to go through a process to be a better, more successful team than the Philadelphia 76ers since the process era began, if you will. Not only did they not have to go through that, in the process, they fleeced the 76ers when it came to Markelle Fultz and Jason Tatum. Now, I know that there's two sides to this argument, but either side that you're on, the end of the story is Jason Tatum is not a 76er. And if Jason Tatum is a 76er and Markelle Fultz is not a 76er, then I feel pretty damn good about the 76ers' odds of actually making it further in the playoffs and potentially with the mix of Joel Embiid actually winning in the playoffs. Especially if you're still able to add Tyrese Maxey with the 21st overall pick. You throw him into the mix. Oh, yeah, you're definitely winning a championship. But anyway, I digress. I'm watching this team last night, and I'm watching the Celtics. And the Celtics are the team that really puts that terrible taste in my mouth because they fleeced the Sixers. They didn't go through a process, and they're a better team than the Sixers. And we have seen the Sixers lose to them time and time again. Watching the Celtics last night, it brought back that feeling of watching the Sixers get eliminated to the Knicks. It brought back that feeling of kind of angst when watching Philadelphia sports. And it was after coming off the high of the Philadelphia Phillies sweeping the reigning World Series champion Texas Rangers out of South Philadelphia. It had been a minute since I've been so euphoric. And one of the things that really drove it home to yesterday was seeing, 43,000 people at Citizens Bank Park for a Thursday afternoon game. That was great vibes. Jeff Hoffman actually tweeted it out as well after the game, just saying how much, he loved that kind of support for a game like that from South Philly. That's beautiful. And this Phillies team just has you expecting wins. I can't remember. I mean, it hasn't happened. You have to go all the way back to 1993, where you've just expected the Phillies to show up and win. And that's the way that's the way this feels. When you continue to get contributions from guys like Edmundo Sosa, Christian Pache has the big hit of the game yesterday with that 2-run triple. Pache is what they're calling it now. Now, forget the ch, it's the Shea. Pache. He contributes for a couple of hits. Rob Thompson says after the game that he's going to be back in the lineup tonight in Colorado when they face another left-handed pitcher. And I just have this great feeling of surrounding Philadelphia sports. And this is on the heels of hearing exactly what I needed to hear and what I wanted to hear from Philadelphia Eagles players talking about their new coordinators. And then the thing that brings me back down to earth is watching the Celtics have success in the playoffs. They open up the 2-0 series lead on the Indiana Pacers, and they do it with a guy that I still feel should be a Sixer in Jason Tatum. And they do it again in the conference finals, a spot that the Sixers have not been in. And yes, it is a reminder also when I see TJ McConnell running out there on the court, and TJ McConnell's out there playing some good basketball, and TJ McConnell is, of course, playing for the Pacers, and he's playing in what? An Eastern Conference final. It doesn't take much after riding a high to get right back to bitterness, baby. And that's exactly what I got back to last night. But anyway, Eagles added a third wide receiver. Anyway, hopefully. Let's talk about this Philadelphia Phillies team to get back on the side of happiness, okay? It really is. And I've used this many times, and it was good to hear from Nick Castellanos after yesterday's game. Nick Castellanos had glowing things to say about this team, and how do you not have glowing things to say about this Phillies team when you consider the start to the season that they've had? But it's a next man up mentality of one guy starts struggling, another guy comes up and just starts mashing. One guy struggles in the rotation, the next guy comes up, 7 innings, 2-run baseball, whatever the case may be. One guy struggling to begin a start, like Christopher Sanchez against the Mets. Next thing you know, he ends that start looking like Sandy Koufax. I mean, having this kind of success, team-wide success, is astonishing to me. We talked about Nick Castellanos potentially getting off the snide when it came to drawing a couple of walks 2 days ago. Good for him getting on base. And then yesterday gets a couple of hits, including his 5th home run of the season. And hearing him talk about his approach at the plate is the approach that as fans we have been screaming. If you're one of the 43,000 at Citizens Bank Park yesterday, you're probably screaming this at Nick Castellanos yesterday during his at-bats. Be patient. He goes up there and look at the hack. Take a couple of pitches, baby. Just chill. And he talks about going up there. This is what he talks about his approach. And what I love about this approach is whenever I hear this type of approach, it seems so easy to me because, to me, Manny Ramirez cracked this code when he had those years with the Boston Red Sox, without question. Manny Ramirez went up there and he said, this pitcher, I want the pitch right here. And until he got that pitch, he didn't give a damn about anything that pitcher did. He might try to swing and foul some off, just to, extend the at-bat, have a good at-bat. And then the minute that pitch was there, whether it was the first pitch of the at-bat or the 7th pitch of the at-bat, that's the pitch he was going after. And Nick Castellanos has now started to show a little bit more of that patience over the last couple of days. If the pitch isn't there, maybe foul away one. Don't chase the stuff on the outside corner of the plate or the stuff that's away. Let that pitch come in. And that's exactly what he did. And he got one that dropped down, a cutter that dropped in over all the middle of the plate. And he just barreled it into the left field stands at CBP yesterday, much to the delight of all the Philly fans in attendance. But that's the type of the approach, that's the type of mindset that you need to have from Nick Castellanos if he's going to give you any little bit of what his contract says he's supposed to give you in this lineup. And he's not getting sat. They're not taking him out. We talked about it during yesterday's show. Rob Thompson has consistently looked at Nick Castellanos and said, this is a guy that's going to swing through his problems. He does that by consistently putting him in the lineup despite flailing away at those outside pitches. He has chose to be patient. And to Nick Castellanos' credit, he has showed up for the early batting practice. He has put in the work. And hearing him talk about his approach yesterday, hearing him talk about this ball club in general yesterday, made me feel a lot better about the near future of Nick Castellanos and how he could be getting ready for one of them hot streaks, similar to the hot streaks that he had last year in the first half of the season that made him an all-star. So I'd love to see that happen again for Nick Castellanos. And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning. But a guy who does seem to have turned the corner is JT Realmuto. Homered again yesterday. Now has 7 on the season. He has a 13-game hitting streak. I heard it on the broadcast yesterday. The Phillies haven't had a catcher have a 13-game hitting streak in 20 years. I was like, really? Chooch? Not once? Even that year Chris Coast came up, the 32, 33-year-old rookie, whatever he was, when he hit like 330? He didn't even have one? No? Okay. So Mike Lieberthal in 2004, the Dave Matthews Band fan and all-star Mike Lieberthal. 20 years ago was the last time the Phillies had a 30. First off, Mike Lieberthal played 20 years ago. I'm old as hell. But 13-game hitting streak, that's the last one. But JT Realmuto in that 2 spot. Look, Trey Turner, the Phillies are out now. They're out in Colorado for 3. They'll be in San Francisco for 3 before coming home. Trey Turner is expected to play at some point in that 6-game road trip. JT Realmuto looks fantastic in that 2-hole. My assumption, and I think it's a pretty safe bet, would be that once Trey Turner comes back, he goes right back to batting second, right behind Kyle Schwarber, and that JT Realmuto ends up batting 5th. If you have Nick Castellanos getting hot as well, maybe you have him bat 5th, but I doubt it because I think with the way JT Realmuto has been swinging the bat as of late, you want him protecting Alec Bohm. So for me, it is a pretty incredible thing to think about the possibility with a guy like Trey Turner coming back and the Phillies not missing a beat. And the main reason the Phillies have not missed a beat is because of their depth and because of that next man up mentality. The point I made yesterday to start off the postcast, which if you haven't started watching yet, Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast with yours truly after every Phillies game. The main point I had yesterday was this. The Phillies are only off to this is a great start to the season. We're only saying that. Let's live in this parallel universe for a second where you don't have the contributions from the non-everyday guys, the platoon at best guys, the fill-in guys, the bench guys, okay? You only have, the Phillies are off to a great start. They're not 6 games up on the Braves like they are right now. They're sure as hell not the best team in baseball. No, they don't have a run differential of plus 90. And they don't have a 35-game stretch where they win 29 games. That doesn't happen for the first time since 1892. Those things are not happening unless you get the contributions that you're getting from the more under-the-radar guys. You're just having a really good start to the season. You're having a great start to the season. You're not having a best team in baseball start to the season, and you're not having a historic start of the season. You're not doing that without Edmundo Sosa playing shortstop the way he's played shortstop, which has been great. Even got you going in that first inning by being able to go back into shallow left field and make that catch over his head. It was a circus catch, but it was a great catch. And then he only contributes 3 hits in the game, 3 for 4 with a run scored. That a boy. A 417 on base percentage right now. Holy pots and pans. And then Christian Pache, 2 for 4 in yesterday's game. With that 2-run triple, are you serious? Cody Clemens helping you win games? What? This bullpen pitching as well as they have pitched. The starting rotation being incredible. Like, think about this. You talk about depth. What more do you need to know than your 1, 2, and 3 guys would be ones on many rosters in baseball. And there you have the depth of, okay, who's pitching first? Who's the first in the rotation? Oh, well, an ace. Who's second in the rotation? Well, an ace. Who's third in the rotation? Well, an ace. Christopher Sanchez has been pitching well for you. When he hasn't pitched well, he's figured it the hell out while he's been on the mound. You have Spencer Turnbull start off the season for you. You're talking about a guy who started a handful of games over the last 2 seasons. He comes out here, he goes, 4-0? Microscopic ERA. You're like, yeah, well, you got Taiwan Walker coming back, and Turnbull, you're going back to the bullpen. Or you're going to the bullpen, not back to the bullpen. Like, the luxury that you have with this rotation, this lineup, this bench is incredible. How do you not love it? And then also, one of your aces, Zach Wheeler, decides in the offseason, I've been toying around with this splitter. Maybe now's the time where I'm really going to use it. And they used it masterfully yesterday. How about that? One of the best pitchers in baseball gets even better by adding another pitch to his arsenal. I hate to say this before June. I feel spoiled. It's gotten to the point where they go down again early. They go down 1-0 yesterday. I'm just like, yawn. For the people watching the show, you saw me yawn. For the people on the podcast, I just gave you the audible yawn as well. I'm watching it yesterday, and I'm just like, yeah, this is fine. You used to be like, oh, how are they going to scratch and claw and run out of this one? No, it's just like, all right, one of these guys is going to hit a home run. One of these guys is going to get in scoring position. Alec Boehm's going to drive him in. That's the only thing that didn't happen yesterday is Alec Boehm came up with nothing. 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Boom. Break out of the slump. Oh, yeah, let's get negative. Boehm goes 0 for 4. Bryson Stott goes 0 for 4. All right, it's time to trade these guys. They never have higher draft stock trade stock than right now. Kidding. But you're getting contributions from everybody. And when even if Bryson Stott, let's say Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm combined to go 0 for 8. Not even a walk between the two. Meanwhile, Christian Pache and Edmundo Sosa combined to go 5 for 5 for 8. It's a good day at the office. With a run scored and 2 RBIs. That's a good day at the office. Oh, Bowman Stocko, 0 for? What did Pache and Sosa do? Oh, they only helped you win the game. This came out a lot in yesterday's game. I didn't even think about this because this means there's some kind of edge. And when I look at this Phillies team, I don't see an edge. I see a team that's just calm, cool, and collected. Like, if they're not going to hit in the first inning, they're going to hit in the third inning. If they don't hit in the third inning, they're going to match in the 7th inning. And if they don't match in the 7th inning, they're going to have a rally in the 9th inning and make sure they win. That's calm, cool, and collected. That's not a team that's pressing. That's not a team that I feel when you look at you see a chip on your. When you look at this Phillies team, do you see a chip on their shoulder? Because listening to this yesterday, I did not think, I didn't think until I heard it from Nick Castellanos. I didn't think until I heard it from Rob Thompson. I didn't think anything about a chip being on their shoulder from last year. Then you really started to break it down and you go, the only chip that I could say was on the Phillies' shoulder that I was aware of before the season started was the one about the Braves. And that wasn't even a postseason thing because, of course, the Phillies have had the Braves number in the postseason. The thing that's incredible is that the Phillies, that was the only chip. The thing that I didn't see was a chip on their shoulder from how last season ended. 1 win away from a second consecutive World Series appearance. Rob Thompson was asked about that after the game, and he alluded to how that has helped things out. He also was asked, it starts off, I believe, by him talking about the depth of this team, the bench, and how great those bench players have been, and then how these players have been motivated by the way last year ended.
That they're never complacent. They keep fighting. They prepare. They compete. They have a lot of fun doing it. They love playing the game. So, yeah, it was a good homestand with big crowds every day, every night. So it's been a lot of fun.
Going out the way they did last year in the playoffs, do you think that helps?
No doubt. No doubt. And the new guys that have come in have bought right into it. You know, there's kind of an edge to everybody. They want to finish it.
It's so crazy to me to think about an edge with this team because I just see them as such a chill team, a cool team, laid back. Like it's really tough to describe. They're just always in control. They're very Michael Corleone. All right? They're certainly not Fredo. They're definitely not Sonny. They're definitely Michael. Like, you don't see them pressing, shooting their mouths off, going hysterical like Sonny, and you don't see them really doing too many dumb things like Fredo. It's the best way I can describe it. Sorry, I'm an idiot. But that's the way I see this team. And to me, that's exactly the team that you want to watch. Always in control. Never out of it. That's the other thing. When you think about this lineup, you just think about a lineup that's just always in it. And a lot of time, also the balance of if you have a bad start from a pitcher, in the rare occasion you have a bad start. Phillies are one of the best teams if they don't still lead the league in quality starts. They're always in it. The bats are right there to start mashing for you. I'm in awe of this team. And I find myself Phillies play at 8:40 tonight. They play at 9:10 tomorrow night, Saturday night. And then they have a late afternoon game, I think 3:40 on Sunday against the Colorado Rockies. And by the way, do enough people get that reference if I say Colorado Rockies like that? Colorado Rockies. People understand that, right? If you know, you know. If you don't know, then anyway, see if anyone gets into the chat. Anyway, when it comes to this Phillies team, I can't wait to watch the next game. There's 162 of these, and I feel like I'm watching an NFL season. And I think I got into this a little bit yesterday, but one of the really amazing things is when you talk about the Phillies town, the Eagles town, which is what we talked about yesterday. In baseball, you have an ability to do something you just can't do in football. And this is, I love the NFL. I love football. Don't get me wrong. But there's one thing that baseball always has over football, and it's less bull. Baseball is a game of substance. The baseball season is a season of substance. There's 162 games. There's more playing than there is talking. With football, it's play a game, talk for 6 days, play a game. Play a game, talk for 6 days, play a game. It builds up the anticipation. It makes every game feel like life or death. I get it. I love it. It's part of the allure of football. But when you have a great baseball team, you're in it every single day, and you're watching these guys do what you love. Do what you love to watch them do. In football, talk, game. Talk, game. That's one of the things I don't like about the NFL. I mean, what am I going to do? Play every day? No, you're not going to play football every day. I get it, but that's just the way it is. It's not something you can change, unfortunately. Although Roger Goodell, I wouldn't be shocked if he went to like 162 games. Just kidding. We're just going to play year-round football, like a year-round school year. That's what we're going to do with football. That's just going to keep going. The NFL is going to absorb the United Football League or whatever the hell it is now, and then that'll just be an extension of the NFL. You just keep playing. You get one bye week a month. All right. Anyway, back to reality. When the baseball team is good, you just get so invested because you get to live and breathe it every single day. And that's just something that, even like hockey, 82 games, basketball, 82 games, you don't do it as much as you do in baseball. And man, it is so much fun when your team is great. And if your team is the best team in baseball, oh man, it makes the summer that much more enjoyable. And yesterday, seeing that many people out there on May 23rd on a Thursday afternoon to see the Phillies complete their 7th sweep of the season, it's pretty amazing. Speaking of amazing, Nick Castellanos had a couple of things to say about this team yesterday, including the best team he's ever been on. He was on a team that went to the World Series. He was on a team that was 2 wins shy of going to a World Series. Excuse me, winning the World Series. I think this is it right here of him talking about just how good this team is.
I can't speak for the whole team.
That was not it. This is it right here.
This is the best team I've ever been a part of. It's a lot of fun.
What separates it from other teams you've been on?
I'd say the consistency in our preparation, and honestly, it's next man up. Everybody is contributing as somebody different every single day, and we're all having a lot of fun doing it. Obviously, it's a really long season and there's so much baseball left, so I think we just got to stay the course and keep on going about our work and business this way, and let the results be what they are.
Sound courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia. Yeah, obviously a long season, but the man is enjoying every second of it as it's the best team that he has been on. As far as the chip on the shoulder for him, this is the way he answered that question about how last year ended and how it's aided the beginning of this year.
I can't speak for the whole team. I can speak for myself that, I had a real hard time enjoying any part of the offseason, even when I was on vacation, just because of how bitter that season ended.
As a guy that I always credit as just being really cool, in terms of like, he doesn't have that Philly type of attitude. I mean, you talk about a Michael Corleone. I think that's a very good way to describe Nick Castellanos, where he's for the most part really chill. I mean, sure, he can get mad, but for the most part, he's just very methodical. And to hear him talk about changing his approach to the plate, hearing him talk about how last year affects this year and how guys don't seem to be taking anything for granted. Last year seems, you have that chip on your shoulder. Last year seems to make you laser focused this year. And it's very rare you ever see anybody on this Phillies team lose focus. And some people tried attributing that to Rob Thompson. I forget who asked him the question in the press conference yesterday. But he said, hey, these guys off the bench, for instance, they seem pretty locked in. They seem like they're performing at a pretty high level. How do you keep those guys going? How do you keep them focused? And he's like, that's got nothing to do with me. I love the idea of like, I do not like, it's almost go back to football for example. It's almost like a football coach being like, well, the players performed well. They did great. And you take all the blame. You don't take any credit. That's kind of how Rob Thompson's approaching this. He's like, that's got nothing to do with me. That's got everything to do with the players. Like Rob Thompson he didn't say this, but he was like, I just give them the opportunity. They go out there and perform. He says that's more to the players. That's more to Dave Dombrowski getting us guys that we know. That's more of Sam Folt getting us guys that know that can perform at this level. Like Christian Pache was supposed to be a bust. Supposed to be this hotshot prospect with the Braves. They give up on him. They ship him over to Oakland, I believe, in the Matt Olson deal. And then Oakland's like, nah, we don't really got much use for him. And the Phillies pick him up. The Phillies get him. And now he's helping you win baseball games? Okay. 2-run triples? Yes, sir. Thank you. Mundo Sosa, as I put it out, I think it was on Monday. And Mundo Sosa was known for throwing a baseball, accidentally, into an umpire's ear from shortstop. And now he's one of the best players you can get off the bench in baseball. He's one of the best fill-in guys you can have in baseball. I mentioned this name yesterday. I'll mention it again. Greg Dobbs really helped the Philadelphia Phillies in 2008 win that World Series. Greg Dobbs. Why? Because he's one of the best pitch hitters, if not the best pinch hitter in all of baseball in 2008. You don't win without those glue guys that Pat Gillick was so phenomenal at finding. You don't win without those guys. And it really Dave Dombrowski really reminds me. Same type of philosophy. Okay, we have some really good players in place. If we don't have them, we'll get them. He'll get Kyle Schwarber. A guy that, let's not forget, you talk about the attitude in a locker room. You talk about the attitude in a clubhouse. One of the things that sticks out the most for me in any time Dave Dombrowski has spoken into a microphone since taking over responsibilities for the Philadelphia Phillies front office is how he compared Kyle Schwarber with Darren Daulton in 1997 when Dave Dombrowski, the then general manager of the Marlins, traded for Darren Daulton. He traded for Darren Daulton and Eisenreich, Izzy. And he said when Darren Daulton walked through that locker room, when he walked through that clubhouse, the respect that he had from everybody else was unparalleled until he brought Kyle Schwarber to Philadelphia. And he saw how much the clubhouse loved and admired Kyle Schwarber. You need those guys to push the buttons. It's like that when you talk about attitude of a guy like Kyle Schwarber, all the way on down to a guy like Garrett Stubbs, who guys just love having in the clubhouse. It really is what makes the chemistry go. And that's why it's not Madden. That's why it's not 2K. That's why it's a totally different animal. That's why it's living beings, ball players, a different species of human being. And you can talk about all the analytics you want, but that's something that you just can't measure. That's an amazing thing, man. It's an amazing thing. And hearing these guys talk about the chip that's on their shoulder from last year, hearing from a manager that I had questions about going into the season, and I know I'm not the only one. My point at the beginning of the year was that Rob Thompson had to win some people over for the way he managed the bullpen last year and kept on trusting Craig Kimbrell. and pulling out Christopher Sanchez. That's the other thing. Christopher Sanchez this year has found a way to pitch himself out of jams time and time again. Maybe he pitches himself out of that jam in Arizona, and then you're not pushing everybody up in the bullpen a spot to the point where Craig Cribble has the opportunity to come in and crumble. But I digress. I tell you all that to tell you this. This Phillies team is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And whatever goes into their attitude to help them have success, I'm all for it. 1,000,000 bazillion %. Coming up, we're going to get into, once again, the Phillies, just to give you the exact number. Beep-o pop. I want to make sure I have this right for you. So the Phillies, off to their best start ever, as we know, through a 50-game stretch, now 51-game stretch. They also completed their 7th sweep of the season. The Phillies haven't swept 7 out of 12 opponents since 1977. In that season, they happened to win 101 games. By the way, hat tip to CBSSports.com's own Jeff Kerr, friend of the show. So the Phillies get their 7th sweep this season. They had 7 sweeps in all of last year, and it's the first time since 1977 that they swept 7 of 12 opponents. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Phillies' best 35-game stretch, 29-6 since 1892. So we'll give you some fun facts about 1892. Well, one's not fun at all because like a lot of people died. But anyway, we got facts. We'll call them that. Facts about 1892. And it's the second day in a row, I think we're actually mentioning Grover Alexander. But this time we'll talk about the president, not the guy that pitched for the Phillies. But anyway, I digress. We'll get to some fun facts. Well, sorry, not fun. Facts about 1892 a little bit later in the show. As far as your Philadelphia Eagles go, the Cincinnati Bengals in 2017 drafted a guy named John Ross out of Washington. Blazing fast speed in a tiny little 5'11" body. Okay. First round pick. He was the 9th overall. Played 4 years in Cincinnati. Unfortunately for him, didn't work out so well. Then he goes to the New York Giants in 2021. And then suffers some injuries. The speed isn't really there. Never gets more than his career high was 506 yards. And that was with Cincinnati in 2019. He has not played in an NFL game since 2021. He was done. He was out. And the Philadelphia Eagles have decided, hey, we got this thing called a third wide receiver that we'd kind of like some other guys to audition for. John Ross, come on down. And at 28 years old now, he is getting another opportunity. It's funny to think about him so young, having not played in 3 years. But the Eagles are giving him another opportunity. I'm all for these take-a-flyer guys. Yeah, see what happens. That's why when we talked about Calais Campbell last week, I'm like, yeah, that seems like a move. I forget who mentioned it in the chat, but somebody even said, oh, yeah, it's a move that Howie Roseman would make. That kind of training camp move. Like, oh, yeah, let's see how Zach Cunningham can work out for you. Let's see how Miles Jack can work out for you. Oh, yeah, let's bring in Ndamukong Suh, and let's bring in Linval Joseph and see how these guys do. Let's take a flyer on some of these guys. Because even in the defensive tackle situation of Suh or Linval, you knew that you couldn't have Fletcher Cox play 83% of the snaps. That would be a bad idea to do that again. So you at least need bodies out there to give Fletcher Cox a break. So Howie Roseman out there, and he made some moves. Even if you have some young guys on this roster, for instance, that you're really hoping break through and do a fantastic job in terms of making sure that you have some depth a little bit later on in the season, making sure that you take some of your draft picks at the wide receiver position or on the offensive skill set, whether that's guys like Johnny Wilson, whether that's Anaya Smith, whoever it might be. You sure want to have those guys develop, but if you could bring in a veteran to see what they have left, a guy who's been around the block a little bit, like John Ross or John Brown, for instance, if you have opportunities to do it, Paris Campbell, and you just get them around some of these rookies, that only helps. It helps the competition. It helps your depth. And it also helps develop young guys by putting more veterans around them. More guys to pick the brain of. Yeah, A.J. Brown's great. Devontae Smith's great. But if you can add more to that, more knowledge, and expedite the maturation process for some of these younger guys, I'm all for it. I don't know anyone that would be like, what the hell? Why are they even wasting their time? No, why? If there's time to waste, it's now. I'm talking about OTAs. Yeah, go ahead. And it's not like they have, I mean, they're going to be on this a very similar page to everybody else. Being that it's not like they got to learn Brian Johnson's scheme. It's not like they're coming in the fourth year of Shane Steichen or anything like that. No, it's a little different. So everyone's got to learn something new. And bringing in these guys at this point, they're going to be on the same page as everybody else because you're just starting with your new coordinators for however long that's going to last. Hopefully a long, long time. Also, I got this sneaky suspicion that Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I almost only want to refer to him as number 155. Because I feel like if I say his name, people just go right to, oh, that's never. You're only saying that because you love, Trot Sr. You love the Axeman. No, I want to grade him on his own. But looking at the Eagles linebacking core, if he's good, I'm not saying all pro, I'm not saying Pro Bowl. If he's good, he's gonna be a starter by the midway point of the season. It's not a high bar right now. I root for Nakobe Dean. I hope he does well and all that stuff. Devin White, I have a lot of questions about. Speaking of guys that are taking a flyer on, another guy that's taking a flyer on at the linebacker position. I already mentioned Zach Cunningham, who worked out. I mean, being the best linebacker on the Eagles isn't exactly high praise. But you've taken flyers on guys before. So it's not like you have a lot of confidence in this linebacker position. But Hatchet Man, right? It's not a high bar to get over. I would not be shocked at all if by the midway point of the season, he's your regular starter. Maybe it's next to Devin White. Maybe it's next to Nakobe Dean. I think Nakobe Dean's better suited on the outside anyway. But getting him in the middle, that would not be a big surprise to me. It wouldn't be a big surprise to me if Jeremiah Trotter Jr., number 155, it wouldn't surprise me if he got more reps even than Jalix Hunt. I know that might shock some people, especially with Vic Fangio supposedly so high on Jalix Hunt, their third-round pick, their edge rusher. But it's going to be a tougher code to crack on the outside for him than it would be, I think, for Trot Jr. to stay on the inside as an interior linebacker for this Eagles defense. And I was thinking about it yesterday when I was going through the depth chart and I was going over some of the notes from people on OTAs. But if I was to make a prediction, it's that Trot Jr. is a starter in the middle of this defense by the midway point of the season. That would be the least shocking thing to me. More shocking would be Bryce Huff playing 70% of the snaps. Like a Hassan Reddick number. The guy he's replacing. The guy that's still playing for the same contract with the Jets. We're all having fun. Sports are fun. We're having fun, right? We're all having fun. Okay, anyway. Hey, the Phillies. All right, let's get I promised this, so I want to make sure I get this to you guys even before the actually let me hit our sponsors, our wonderful, amazing sponsors. First off, thanks to MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone. Create an account. Use promo code Farzy. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Want to bet on the world of baseball? Want to bet on the world of basketball? The playoffs going on? NHL? You can even bet on the world of politics. If that's your thing, you can do that too. You can bet on the world of politics at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. You can also bet on the world of television. How's the series going to end? Who's going to end up with who? Whatever. All at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code Farzy when you create an account and download the app. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Oh, my goodness gracious, the Game Time app. You want to go to a game? Phillies on the road a little bit? Phillies on the road? Maybe if you're going with them, you can still use the Game Time app. Going to the Colorado Rockies, going out there. Beautiful stadium. Love that stadium. I think they still have a Jack Daniels deck in the upper section. I've had a few. It's lovely. Look out over the mountains. It's gorgeous. But yeah, you can go see that amazing view at the Game Time app. You going to San Francisco? Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase. I recommend both these ballparks on the road. I've been to both. They're incredible. They do have a that's out of here cheesesteak in San Francisco, which I don't use the term not violation. It's not my bit, but that is a violation. Double violation. That's out of here cheesesteak in San Francisco? I don't think so. Anyway, but you could go there and the stadium's cool. And you can use the Game Time app to get your tickets. Use the Game Time app, download the account, create an account, and use promo code Farzy and get $20 off your first purchase. You'll also love their flash ticket deals, their last-minute ticket deals. Even if you're going to a concert, a comedy show, whatever the case may be, you download the Game Time app, and if you wait for an hour after the event starts, so you might miss the opening act, might miss the middle, but you'll see the headliner that you really want to see, and you'll see that person at Mega or that band or that game for mega huge Kajunga savings on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app. You also get the panoramic view of your seat before you buy it. How fantastic is that? So download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase at the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's get, before we get to the chat check, here we go. I typed up a little list here about 1892, the last time the Phillies were this good, okay? Through a 35-game stretch, 1892. Grover Alexander was just elected president. So he was the president of the United States, 1892, okay? Ellis Island opened on January 1st in New York, in the harbor. Ellis Island, many people's ancestors, mine included, came through Ellis Island. Allegedly, my last name was butchered. Anyway, Dr. James Naismith publishes The Rules of Basketball on January 15th. This is all in the incredible year. J.R.R. Tolkien was born. Walt Whitman, he died that year. Liverpool FC was founded. This stuff's nuts. I mentioned it earlier. One of my favorite facts is Pabst Blue Ribbon didn't even have their blue ribbon yet. I believe that was given at the 1898 World's Fair, if I'm not mistaken. What else happened? Thomas Edison, two-way patent for the two-way telegraph happened in 1892. This seemed, but there was, come on. There was one specific thing to Philadelphia that was also not great. But I can only imagine this summer the Phillies helped lift the spirits of the city of Philadelphia. Oh, come on. I just lost it. Wow. Only the 18th Kentucky Derby was run. That's hilarious. There was a big fire in Old City. I remember reading that. And I thought I typed it out. I did not. When I say typed it out, I mean copy and pasted it. I didn't. But anyway, there's a fire in Old City that year that's pretty brutal. Yeah, that was not good. Anyway, let's get to the chat check. See how you guys are doing on this fine Friday morning. There we go. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Oh, come on. Here we go. IBH, what's going on, IBH? April. Good morning, April. Sean Kilrain, what's popping? April, Phillies are cooking. Hells yeah. Good morning, Mike Fuji. Morning, everybody. Happy Friday to all. Fightins are unstoppable. John Ross is too injury-prone. Hunter Renfroe would make more sense. I'm fine with that, too. Daniel, we talked about him the other day. Daniel, good morning. Sean Kilrain, Nikki Three Buttons with a solo homer, Farzy. I'm going to keep talking that ish on him Yeah, it seems to be working. It does seem to be working. I think I heard him credit you too. I think it was like that Sean Kilrain guy. Let me tell you. Not only does he bring the knowledge, but he's helping me get better ABs. Morning, Fars. Good morning, Daz. I like the PH in Fars. That's cool. Twiz, what's going on, Twiz? Great avatar with the Batman thing. Daz, hello. IBH. I think the Eagles are going to bring in anyone who will sign a 1-year contract with no guarantees. That's fair. Sean Kilroy, John Ross is a camp body. Say hello to Hunter Renfroe. Okay, I'd be happier if Hunter Renfroe was signed. I'd be happier. But look, they know they have an issue. They brought in somebody to take a flyer on. I don't get mad at these. I understand what you're saying, but maybe that's down the line. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? We're going to have a surprise signing. You watch before the season starts. Put it this way. If they do have a surprise signing, that wouldn't surprise me. In terms of the unknown name, that would be the surprising part. Chad Crawford, what's going on? Daz, happy about the home run by Casty. Daz, this is the first time in a long time I actually think we could win a World Series. There you go, Daz. It only took you the greatest start in franchise history to get there. That's all. Tampa Eagle. What's up, Tampa Eagle? Good morning. What's popping? Daz, still want Mason Miller. You guys are banging the drum for Mason Miller. Daz, I think you got that started off. CZ, good morning. That'd be not a bad idea. Daz, I made bourbon chicken last night. Better than the mall's food court. That's high praise, my friend. That's high praise. I don't know what it is about that bourbon chicken, but good Lord. That is some good stuff. When I was flying every weekend for Sunday Night Football, Louis C.K. has this line about, I am sitting on my luggage eating a Cinnabon at the airport I arrived at. You know? He's like, do you understand why that's more depressing? For me, I would fly back and I would walk through Philly Airport and I'd fly back and I'd usually be, first flight out of whatever city I was in. And then I was in the update booth by 2 p.m. at WIP. And then sometimes I'd be on the update booth even later. I'd have the night shift for at 6 p.m. But I wouldn't have a lot of time to stop and get food. So the only thing I could do was while I'm at the airport, I would pick up bourbon chicken at the food court airport, the airport food court. And then I'd take that home and eat that real quick. And then I'd go to work. And that was, that's how I got fat. But anyway, that bourbon chicken is banging. And if you made bourbon chicken at home better than at any food court, let alone a mall, an airport, kudos to you, Daz. Kudos to you. CZ, Mason Miller would be nice. He would be nice. Mason Miller would be phenomenal. Been begging for a real closer for years, I tell you. What in the holy hell's bells? John Cheeseborough, you old sandbagging SOB. Welcome back, baby. Good morning, Farzy in Society. Eagles are OTAs, so John's hanging out. Sean Gillespie, good morning, Sean Gillespie. What's going on? Jason, good morning, Jason. Morning, y'all. I don't know what you want to add to this team besides maybe a closer. Bullpen arms. I'll take another bullpen arm. I'll take another bat off the bench. Here's what's not working out so great for the Phillies right now. That's very specific. Ready? Whit Merrifield. Not working out. Rob Thompson gave him a little vote of confidence last night after the game. He said, the guys on the bench, everyone's really contributing. Whit's having some struggles. He had a hit yesterday. Maybe that gets him going. But he did say Whit Merrifield hasn't hit like Whit Merrifield has hit, but he will. Okay, that's a vote of confidence. John Cheeseborough, may a bench bat to be what Merrifield was supposed to be, but bullpen is my priority. I'm with you right there. John Cheeseborough also. I like how some people out there that talk about the Phillies' schedule or the teams they've played to this point. Phillies don't control how bad the teams are. Other teams are. Their job is to show up and mash them. Smash them, yeah. I concur. Yeah, Sean, I think a lot of people are on board with you right here. Keep Cody up here when Trey goes back. Send down Rojas to work out his bat. They're not sending down Yo. Sean Kilrain, I would be shocked if they put Johan Rojas down there. They want to give him kind of sink or swim moments throughout this season. They want to give him the Bryson Stott treatment. Witt is a solid utility guy. Agree or disagree? Well, I disagree because he's not that great in the field. He is versatile. I get it. You could second, third, fine. I think they even talked about him at first, and he could play left field. I get the versatility. That part of it is solid. But what is he hitting now? I mean, a solid utility guy to me right now is Christian Pache and Edmundo Sosa. But Whit Merrifield right now, at this point in the season, is hitting 191 with a 258 on base percentage. He's hit 2 home runs. Edmundo Sosa is hitting 323 with a 417 on base percentage. Pache is at 225 at 333. God, Rojas is at 219, 262. All that's better than Whit Merrifield, unfortunately. Now, granted, Whit Merrifield can play the infield positions, but no. Unfortunately, I can't give him that solid. He's had a solid career, obviously. All-star career. But I am waiting for more for him, and so were the Phillies. But as far as him being a versatile fielder, absolutely. That'll give you solid. That I'll agree with you on solid. I hate when people say, I'll give you that. Like, no, you already made the point. You have it. You have it, but I agree with the defensive side of that. Spurger King, what's going on? John Cheesebro, sorry. I think Rojas would stay because this defensive speed kind of feel like Witt is the odd man out when Trey comes back. It could be. They're going to send down Cody Clemens. I think that's the direction they're going to go. I don't like it, but I think they're going to do it. They're not. I don't think they're going to just flip out a bullpen arm. I think they're going to send down Cody Clemens. Daz, thank you for this public service announcement. I live very close to a Walmart, and if they're selling jerseys for $40, Kelly Green jerseys, I'm in, baby. Mitchell and Ness, really? Cool. All right, I like this. This is a good Michael Corleone line, if not one of my favorite lines. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. It's a great line. John Cheesebro, I mega loathe those later games, especially later on Sunday Night Baseball. I'm kind of okay, but those 3 or 4 Sunday games, not sure why it drives me. It's because it's in the middle of things. It's in the middle of things. That's why I don't like it. Like, for instance, we're trying to make plans for Memorial Day weekend. My brother-in-law is supposed to come up, not coming up anymore with his family, right? It kind of bumps me out because we like to party. We just went to Tennessee, me, my wife, her 2 brothers, their wives. It's great. But now we're like, hold on, what are we doing? We're supposed to like friends of ours gave us a choice. So like, hey, do you want us to come over Saturday or Sunday? Because they're supposed to come over to party, right? And I'm like, well, do I want to do Saturday and just not drink all day? Because I don't like drinking if I know I'm going to be on a microphone, even if it's like an 9-10 start time Saturday night, tomorrow night. I don't even like drinking at all during the day. It's not because I'm afraid to be hammered when I come on the air. That's not the case. It's just that stuff is, when you drink, it just makes you so. You could have one drink. I could have one drink in the day and just be exhausted. Like I've never. No, wait. One time I had a glass of wine. This is how I found out. We were making gnocchi at my Uncle Frank's, and we had one glass of wine. A friend gave me a homemade wine. Have a glass of wine. So I had a glass of wine, and that was at like 1:00 in the afternoon. And I had to do a show at 2 a.m. the next day. Okay. So more than 12 hours later. And I just had one glass of wine. And I remember just being more exhausted than I ever. And I'd done a million 2 a.m. shifts, you know, and I'll just never forget just being that tired. I'll be like, I'm never drinking again. And within like a 24-hour period of having to do a show, I just don't like it makes me so tired. But yeah. So anyway, to your point, it's in the middle of everything. You'd rather just do it either at 1, you either know that you're having the early afternoon game and be done with it by 5, if you're in my shoes where you got to do post game and all that stuff, or you get the whole day of just, okay, well, I won't drink and I'll just, I'll have food. I'll drink water, whatever. That's why you don't like it, because it's in the middle of everything. Mihai Sanchez, good morning, all. Deepest Phillies team ever. Love it. Keep it rocking. John Cheeseman, also Farzy, we didn't forget about you. If we don't get an extended Farzy show, I hope both sides of your pillow stay warm. Oh, you bastard. John. It's just the right amount of punishment. You know what I mean? You always know how to dole that out so perfectly. Wait, huh? Kilby, Mike Trout reminds me of Lenny Dykstra. Okay, don't tell Mike Trout that. But better and more hitting power. But for some reason, there's similarities there to me. I don't really put those two together. Maybe it's post-career that's done that for Lenny Dykstra. But yeah, I try not to forget how great a ball player Lenny Dykstra was. Yeah, I say Cody Clemens may be this generation's Matt Stairs. I've seen the comparisons. People talk about hit like Matt Stairs is like the greatest pinch hit at batter. That's another guy. I talk about Greg Dobbs. 2008, you're not winning without Matt Stairs. Glue guy. Do the little things. Do your job well. Matt Stairs was a career banger, man. Cody Clemens barely has his feet wet in Major League Baseball. But hey, if it's this generation's Matt Stairs, Mihai, I'm all for it. JT looks like Trout in his stance. I'll have to look at that next time. Farzy, if we don't get an extended Farzy show, we all hope your Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock, ESPN, Prime Video selections buffer as soon as you press play. John, now you're making me angry. And you won't like me when I'm angry. Baseball clubs have to be tight-knitted, probably more than other teams, says Kilpie. John Tudor, 1892, Phillies' highest-paid player was $3,500. Heard that somewhere yesterday. I wish I could take credit for that. I did look at the roster. I was really disappointed that there were no great names on there like Squeaky O'Houlihan. I don't know what number Paris Campbell got. I'll have to look at that. Daz Trotter won't see the field till next year. Hey, that's also possible, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got the expedited process. John Cena, if Trot is good, if Jacoby can stay healthy, and good, and give them anything, that'd be a great improvement. I concur. Hey, Walt, thanks for the crappy bridge. Right, April? Right? Wait, did they really? I didn't see the Eagles put out a John Ross highlight video, but that's great. Ooh, bourbon chicken. Now we got the bourbon chicken people. This is great. Mr. Prish, should we bring back Julio Jones? Very interesting. Okay. Is anybody else? Wait, what? John Cheesebro, my job is done. Way to be John. Perez, Huff looks bigger than Reddick. I'll have to do a side-by-side. Now we're okay. We got Walmart plugs. I don't mind. All right. Hey, thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful. I mentioned it already, but here's your morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies and Rockies. By the way, nobody got the reference? Anyway, Colorado Rockies. Phillies and Rockies back. Or Phillies and Rockies set up a 3-game series out in Denver tonight. So 8:40 start time. A little bit of a later one. So we got that going on. I think it's a lefty-lefty matchup tonight for the Phillies and Rockies. I think Christopher Sanchez gets the ball. Oh, it should be Nola. Christopher Sanchez. Yeah, Christopher Sanchez gets the ball against Ty Blatch. Sanchez 2-3 on the season with a 3.31 ERA. Blatch 1-2 with a 5.14 ERA. His last start did not last long. 3 innings, 6 runs, all of them earned. Did give up a home run, 7 hits. Wah, wah. Before that, though, he faced the Texas Rangers back on the 12th, and he tossed 5 innings of 1-run baseball, allowing 7 hits. So we'll see how all that works out for the Phillies and Rockies tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great, as per usual. Appreciate you guys being in the chat and all that type jazz. I'll be back with you guys tonight on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check that out. Like and subscribe. I really do appreciate all the support you guys have given that channel. The last 2 days has just skyrocketed with subs for a new channel presented by Locked On Sports of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On Sports Network. I'll be back with you guys after the Rockies game tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. So make sure you like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you smash and like and subscribe the Jacob Media YouTube channel that we're simulcasted on. And make sure you like and subscribe to the all-new Locked On Sports Philadelphia Postcast Network on Locked On Sports Philadelphia's YouTube channel. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Hey, Twiz, you put the link in there. Thank you. Good hustle out of you. Maybe something my idiot brain should have thought of, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. Twiz, you're brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Hey, if we don't see you, if we don't talk to you, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Hope you get to kick your feet up, relax, enjoy the burgers and dogs, and of course, pay tribute to the people that sacrifice for all for all the freedoms that we so enjoy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you guys on, tonight through the weekend on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Catch you again on Monday. See you. Wait. No show Monday. Sorry. We're not doing a show Monday. I'm off Monday. So now for real. Have a great weekend. Bye.